The US and the UK have some of the largest foreign currency in Iraqi dinar in the world outside of Iraq. When you get worried about them doing things where you don't get any value, it's absolutely false. The United States isn't going to throw away the trillions of dinar they have, nor the UK. Keep that in mind, because that should alleviate some of the significant fear of folk thinking Iraq's reinstatement of their currency or giving it a real effective exchange rate isn't going to bring value. It surely will. Iraq boosts financial stability with huge dollar and gold reserves in US, Europe. A country that has huge reserves of hard currency is considered an economically stable country. The Central Bank of Iraq announced in 2024 that Iraq has a foreign currency reserve exceeding $100 billion. Iraq's large reserves of hard currency, including gold, provide cover for the local currency and give it stability. Mr. Sami said, issues with oil and gas will always persist until a new rate appears. That's the only thing that will actually solve all this disagreement between Baghdad and Kurdistan. Frank, yeah, that's absolutely right. I agree. All we need is the new exchange rate. Everything else will iron itself out. Reform package revives 1,000 stalled projects because they couldn't agree on the budget the last few years. They have been holding off on projects for a few years. They have not been able to do them all, they have been stalled. People are looking for a new rate. But they are getting ready to restart them. They cannot do 1,000 projects without a massive infusion of cash. I believe they are setting the stage and we are getting ready to see it. US banks want to invest in Iraq. Central Bank will provide support. Today, Sunday, the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Ali Al-Alak, discussed with the Vice President of the American Chamber of Commerce, Steve Lutz, the banking and economic relations between the two countries, in addition to the desire of American companies and banks to invest in Iraq, while Al-Alak confirmed that the central bank will provide the necessary support to those companies and banks. My opinion, I prefer the float. Why? Because if you float you can come out with more than 1-to-1. If you go in the basket you got no choice, the dollar 1-to-1. Do you see the $3 plus currencies in any basket? No. That's what you need to go. Trump has declared a mandate to Iraq: stop using my dollar. The only way you can use my dollar is to buy medical stuff, medicine, equipment. If you want to travel abroad you can get some of my dollar or goy in your functions as a government. That's it. Nowhere else can you use the American dollar in your country. Citizens can't touch it. Businesses can't touch it. Iraqi stock exchange can't touch it. Nobody is to touch the dollar. The Vietnam dong's low value is not necessarily a disadvantage for Vietnam. It has been a key factor in its economic strategy. While significant appreciation of the dong is unlikely in the short term, Vietnam's growing economy and strategic role in global trade suggests that its currency could slowly gain value over time. However, for now, the government seems to prioritize economic stability and export competitiveness over increasing the dong's value. Coordination framework: no enmity with Trump and America, but we are friends. The coordination framework, which brings together the Shiite political forces forming the government of Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, confirmed on Monday that it is not afraid of the new US President, Donald Trump. The framework's representative, Ali Nima, told Shafak news agency, the framework has no fears of Trump, and promoting fears about imposing any sanctions on Iraq is unrealistic and far from reality. Baghdad and Washington have good relations. We are seeking and working to strengthen this relationship during the next phase. Trump's new team also includes the most ardent opponents of the Iranian axis, and is deeply resentful of the previous administration of Joe Biden and the administration of Barack Obama, considering that these two administrations handed Iraq over to Iran, after the withdrawal and after a series of negotiations. I think things are moving along nicely. Rumors over the weekend, with a couple of my biggest bond contacts, are saying they now expect theirs somewhere around February 10th. Some of these bigger ones could be post-RV though. There are different pots of money paying different things. There are also rumors it could happen tonight. Remember, they cloud things, so we do not know the timing. We know they are moving at a much quicker pace, and I was told the US is pressuring Iraq to complete it. This is a first. America really needs this. Financially we are in a heck of a mess. We know the economic reforms are underway, and we all know there's certain things still missing. I think Iraq has that push button. I think that's about where we are, because you haven't seen that 12(2)(c) amendment yet. There's a reason for that, because they can't, because they're going to have to expose that at or around the same time Iraq does what he needs to do. The good part is it looks like it's coming to the forefront. Mazar Mohammed Saleh, the economic and financial advisor to Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, revealed today, Tuesday, the expected economic situation of the country during the next stage. Saleh told Shafaq news agency, Iraq has high economic capabilities, as it witnesses a cohesion between a renaissance in infrastructure on the one hand, and strategic development thinking on the other hand, most notably the development path that will attract local and international investments, in addition to the effective government contribution, which will constitute an unprecedented renaissance in the country, especially in the residential construction sector and new cities that have launched their projects and will not stop, and they are the best way to economic prosperity on the one hand and raise the level of employment in the country on the other hand. He pointed out that Iraq also enjoys unprecedented price stability, as the annual price growth rate did not exceed 2.9% compared to a 6% increase in GDP growth, which makes Iraq move on the path of sustainable economic development at a steady pace, and all governorates are witnessing remarkable progress. Saleh continued, the National Development Plan for the years 2024 to 2028 seeks to enhance the industrial sector's contribution to the gross domestic product to about 2.2%, after it remained less than 1.8% in previous years, indicating that this launch will come through diversifying the industrial sector, both private and governmental, with a focus on moving from crude oil production to petroleum derivatives production and the petrochemical industry. Saleh stressed that Iraq is the 9th country in the world in terms of natural resources, as its lands contain more than $16 trillion worth of these resources in terms of market value, noting that investing in these natural resources and manufacturing them will increase their added value several times, whether for the purposes of national industries or export. He explained that the National Development Plan indicates efforts to rebuild the foundations of the manufacturing industry through real partnerships